New at 10, he was the school board president when a Nicolet teacher was suspected of strange behavior with students. Now worries their failure to act could have created more victims.
If it did, I'm sorry about it. Because I don't know if anything happened after that time.
As word spread about David Johnson's strange behavior with students, the 81-year-old committed suicide.
The former teacher was found dead yesterday at his home in Wapaka.
Nicolet High School is still trying to figure out how many students may have been abused by Johnson. He taught at Nicolet from 1958 to 1991.
New tonight, Ricky Mitchell talks to the school board president who first confronted Johnson 35 years ago. Ricky.
Well, Carol and Steve, Gerald Haig served on the Nicolet High School Board from 1979 until 1985. And he says he does remember a board meeting in the summer of '83 when he gave Johnson a warning. When the Nicolet School Board learned of David Johnson's behavior in July of 1983, Gerald Haig was the board's president.
I wasn't really sure what he did.
While he remembers the meeting, Haig says no one told him the problem behavior involved touching.
I knew he was doing things, but I never heard that he touched anybody.
That response contradicts the findings of an investigation launched by the school board 2 years ago. An outside law firm determined that the chair of the board at the time clearly remembered that Johnson's interaction with students was sexual in nature. But Haig was adamant no one ever told him that.
If he were touching, I would think I would have tried to get rid of him and say, "You're gone, David."
This all came to light after a former student contacted the district in 2016 accusing Johnson of sexual abuse. According to the investigation, on at least 5 occasions, the student said Johnson would drive him to the school on weekends and ask him to change into gym clothes. He would then ask him to do exercises that resulted in physical contact between the victim's legs and Johnson's clothed genital area. Johnson was a prized teacher at Nicolet. In 1983, he won an award from then-President Ronald Reagan. Do you think that there was any cover-up going on regarding David Johnson?
By whom?
By the board, by the principal, by any administration?
No, because again, I know he was doing some things, and I never heard the word touching him. So I don't think there's any cover-up, really.
Haig says he warned Johnson at the time that he'd be fired if there were any other complaints.
And he said if anything was reported again, we would have to fire him. He did seem receptive, and he felt apologetic, or looked like it.
Do you have any concern that not firing him at the time may have led to additional victims being abused?
If it did, I'm sorry about it. Because I don't know if anything happened after that time.
And Haig only served an additional 2 years after that. He says he did not hear any other complaints about Johnson during that time. Reporting live outside Nicolet High School, Ricky Mitchell, today's TMJ4.
Ricky, thank you very much.
A former student of Johnson says she is disturbed he was allowed to keep teaching after the board learned of his behavior. Linda Perlstein graduated in 1988, says Johnson taught her in freshman math. She says there were rumors about him inviting favorite students to his house. She also said Johnson favored male students and was dismissive and sexist towards girls in the classroom, also in school clubs.
Now, understanding his history with sexual abuse, it strikes me as an attempt to surround himself with more boys, because the more you have around you, the bigger a pool of potential victims to choose from.
She also says she did not receive notification from the school about this investigation. The Nicolet School District says it still wants to hear from people who think they were victims in this case. You can contact the superintendent. The number is 414-351-7525.